So, have you read Bhagavad Gita, everybody? Somewhat, huh? Who has not read Bhagavad Gita? What about others? Who has not read Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita, you see, people think Bhagavad Gita is a religious book. And it is indeed. It is a religious book. But religion word has become a taboo in modern age, isn't it? Religion, and definitely youths don't want to connect to any religion. As a part of our family and a culture, we identify with a religion, but we don't want to be connected with it in our minds. And that's okay, because religion has become religion gives some norms, and those norms are very illogical many times. Some rituals, you have to follow some rituals, and it doesn't appeal to youths, and that's okay. It should be like that. Now, what is Bhagavad? We don't see Bhagavad Gita as a religious book. We see Bhagavad Gita as a book of principles of life, isn't it? So, okay, 1 plus 1 is, what's that? Sure? Sure? Not necessarily. In quantum physics, it's not like that. May not be, but in general, 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so 1000 years back, 1 plus 1 was 2. Now 1 plus 1 is 2. 1000 years afterwards, 1 plus 1 is, at least on Newtonian scale, 1 plus 1 will always remain 2, isn't it? Always. Doesn't change. And can you tell me, 1000 years back, people used to eat or not? People used to eat 2000 years back? Yes or no? Now you eat, and 5,000 years forward, people will eat. So some things don't change, isn't it? That's what I'm going to tell you. Technology changes, science will change, but some things will never change. Speaking truth is always good. Even people who speak lies, they want to speak truth among themselves. Am I right? Even cheaters, they want to be loyal among themselves. So always loyalty, truthfulness, simplicity, they're always good in people's heart. They know that this is nice. Everybody knows this. This doesn't change. So the things which don't change, sun doesn't change, moon doesn't change, am I right? Things which don't change, these things are called as Sanatan. Sanatan means eternal. There are some principles of life, some objects which will which will never change. Am I right? Bhagavad Gita is dealing with those principles which are eternal. Those objects which are eternal. Bhagavad Gita is not interested in temporary things. Bhagavad Gita is interested in eternal things. And that is why our body changes, but we don't change. Am I right? You will never change. Whether you know yourself or don't know yourself, whether you know I am soul or I am not, whether you don't know this, I am soul, I am not this body, it doesn't matter. But you will not change. That I is never going to change. Am I right? You know, what's your name? You know you are Ashu. And after 1 year, you will know you are Ashu. Am I right? In childhood, you knew you are Ashu. Or you were Dimpy in childhood. After you pass from MIT, you will become Asha. Am I right? You will, but your face might change, your body might change, but you, the person, is one. That I, that person doesn't change. So Gita is interested in that person and not the body of that person. You see, so what is Gita? Gita is called as Sanatan. Gita is a book which is dealing with principles of life. Which principles? Eternal principles. I told, first statement was Gita deals with principles of life. But then I qualified and I added another word, eternal. Am I right? Eternal. Because there are so many principles which are very relative. In your life, there's so many things which are relative. Admission in MIT, that's relative. Come and go. Engineering is relative. You can do engineering, but afterwards you can switch over to another profession. Anything. So, you understood, all of you? So, Gita will teach you eternal principles of life. That's a very important information. So, anybody who asks you what is Gita, don't tell it's a religious book. Otherwise, it's a problem. Then they will say, okay, this is book of Hindus. Isn't it? We have Quran and Christianity, Bible. No, but that's the wrong way to think about it. Even Quran, even Bible, they are not religious books. They are giving all eternal principles of life. All the books teach you something. The method of practice might be different, but the principles are same. Just like we have Mercedes, we have Maruti, we have so many cars, but the principle is same, 4-stroke engine. Isn't it? So, this is first point. What is Gita? A book of eternal principles. Okay. Now, among eternal principles, there are some eternal principles which are important to know. There's so many eternal principles, no? Sun, moon, that's eternal. Your eating is eternal. Your shitting is eternal. Am I right? Everybody shits. That will keep on going. Whether you become sick, whether you do whatever, you have to pass stool. You can't stop. And generations will keep on passing stool, even if they become PhD, MHD, whatever you have to do. So, but we are not interested in these kind of eternal principles. We are interested in those eternal principles which are help to connect us with God. And what is God? God is an eternal principle. God is of all principles, He is a topmost eternal principle. Am I right? That is God. So Gita is interested in God and those principles which help you to connect with God. That is Gita. So it's a beautiful book. So Gita will teach you about God, who is eternal, about soul, which is eternal. You are not this body, you are soul. Soul is eternal. We are interested in this because we have to connect soul with God. We have to connect back soul with God. That's important. Other things can keep on going, no problem. Sun can rise, moon can set. We are not interested. That's why Gita is not talking about astronomy. It's not talking about astronomy. Celestial planes, sun's orbit. No, we are not interested. Soul, God. And another thing is time. We are interested in time because we need time to connect with God. Isn't it? You need time. You need life. If you die, everything is gone. Just like you've taken out time to come here. Right? So time, we are interested in time. What is time? Gita is talking about time. Gita is talking about how to save your time in your life. To devote yourself to God. That is another eternal principle we are interested. Gita is also interested in another eternal principle which is called as karma. You know karma? Your actions. You will do actions, whether good or bad doesn't matter, but you will do actions. We are interested in actions because we want to do good actions and we want to avoid bad actions. So that's another principle which is interested. And the fifth principle which Gita is interested in, eternal principle, that is this material world. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. That's eternal, am I right? Combinations can change, permutation combinations, but this is eternal. We are interested in that. Why we are interested in that? Because we are interacting with earth, water, fire, and ether. We are all interacting with it. And this influences us. The food which you eat will influence your mind. That is said, no? You are what you eat. So we are interested. So that's why Gita talks about food. So Gita talks about what to eat, what not to eat. Gita talks about, Gita also talks about your daily routine, what to do, what not to do, so that your mind is peaceful. This is what is Gita all about. So anybody who asks you what is Gita, in simple words you can tell, Gita is a life manual. This is a good word, isn't it? Gita is a book of eternal principles. He'll say what? Bye-bye. Then he will say, I want to explain you. Sorry, I don't know, bye-bye, I'm going. Dollops. Finished. You have to explain. But if you say Gita is a life manual, okay. That is understandable, no? Then you can say how it is life manual. Okay, this Gita is talking about this. So that's the first point. Gita is a life manual. Now you see what is the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Everybody is living, isn't it? Everybody needs a manual to run their life. Your MIT is not giving you this manual. Your MIT is giving manual to run machines, but it's not giving manual to run life. Even KMC is not giving manual to run life. KMC is giving a manual to save life. Medical. But how to run life, KMC is not giving. MBBS doesn't give. In MBBS, we have a subject SPM, Social Preventive Medicine. And they claim that that subject will teach you what to eat. You know, social preventive medicine? There's a, they teach what food to eat, what not to eat. But that subject, according to us all doctors, nobody reads it. Because I just remember one line from social preventive medicine. 2 lines. One is definition of health by WHO. Health is spiritual, mental and bodily well-being, something like this. And another thing I remember, daily eat 1 banana. Other thing I never, because so many bananas are okay, good, you know. So that we don't. It's all medicines, no. So which department is teaching you how to live? Tell me. Did your parents teach you? Did your parents teach you how to live? Anybody parents? No. They might be living their life, and you saw them and you learned something. But there was no particular systematic teaching how to live life. And that's very important, because if you don't know how to live life, you will become educated and you will become dangerous. Got my point? Educated and? Yeah. Why I am saying dangerous? Why dangerous? Because you will become engineers, and then you will become nuclear engineer, and then what you will do? Bomb. You will make things which are destructive for society. So education becomes dangerous with people who are characterless. That's Mahabharata. It becomes very dangerous. Just like if you feed a snake, you are bringing your death. Nobody feeds a snake, isn't it? People kill the snake. Similarly, if you give education to somebody who doesn't know how to lead life, and he become educated, so he'll destroy himself, he'll destroy others. That's all. That's what is happening. All your engineers, computer engineers, all engineers are in Seattle, isn't it? Most of them. You know, Seattle, America, they are Silicon Valley. Most of them are. South India are sitting there. All South Indians. Anda, Panda, all of them are there. So all sitting there and doing working for Apple. Either Seattle, Microsoft, Silicon Valley, Apple. Most of them West Coast. And what they are doing? What Apple is doing? Apple and Google and Microsoft, what they are doing? They are destroying this world by promoting what? What's that? Huh? By promoting corruption, isn't it? Technology, and through technology they are corrupting people's mind. Am I right? Technology could have been used in a good way. Definitely. But it's handled by people who don't know how to live life. So they are destroying their own life, they are destroying others' life. Then what's the point? What's the point of doing all these things? So we are fortunate that we have this Gita with us. So first point is, if anybody asks what is Gita, life manual. Got this point? Second point, what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is a science. It's not religion. Why? Because Gita will tell you how to live life, but then Gita will tell you the logic behind it. Okay, why to do this? Let's understand. Your soul. Arjuna asked Krishna, is there any evidence? Gita will give you evidence for that. And Krishna gives evidence in 2nd chapter. Okay, I can prove your soul. This. 15th chapter, Krishna gives evidence for the existence of soul. Smritir Jnanam Apohanam. I'll not give you evidence, but Gita talks about that. So, Gita says, okay, for example, Gita says, get up early in the morning. Gita will give you the evidence for that. Why? Gita says, control your mind. And then it says, why to control our mind? It gives evidence. So, Gita is evidence-based science. Got my point? This is second thing. Evidence-based science. Because there are some sciences. Why I am saying this? Because all science is not evidence-based. Although science word includes evidence, isn't it? Hypothesis, observation, evidence. But there are some sciences which are not evidence-based, at least which were not. Now they are. Just like, for example, psychology was not evidence-based before. Now they have developed and they have come up with this. So Gita is a science with evidence. Now this evidence is not some experiment. You can't do experiment and show, soul. You can't do experiment something. Okay, you want to show soul, you show it to us. We'll do some experiment in lab and okay, here you can see. That can't happen. But Gita is evidence-based science. Why? Because Gita gives evidence not by machines, but by direct observation and logic. You can directly see for yourself your soul if you do proper meditation. Krishna says, 𝗙liche𝗶𝗹𝗶 dharmayam. Krishna Gita says, 9th chapter. 9.2. 𝗙liche𝗶𝗹𝗶 dharmayam. Krishna says it's a science, evidence-based science. You can pratyaksh means directly observe what I am saying. If you apply these principles, you will observe this is going to happen. If you do this, this is going to happen. If you do this, this is going to happen. So it's a very good science. If you apply, you will understand. If you don't apply, you will not understand anything. You will not understand anything. If you simply keep on reading this book and don't apply, you will say it's nonsense. Nothing is happening. Clear? Fine? That's why Gita is second point is evidence-based science. Why evidence-based? Because you can observe what Gita is saying. If you meditate, you can observe your soul properly. Just wait on it properly. If you follow the principles of Gita, Krishna says your mind will be kept controlled. Okay, you follow and you see 13th chapter Krishna says, follow these things, your mind will get controlled. So this is second point. Third point about Gita is a book which will give you knowledge of God. Now, you can't understand God by speculation. Am I right? Can you just sit in a room and say, okay, I want to understand God. Will you understand? Some people say, sit in a room, close your eyes, and you will understand God. No. If you want to understand anything, you need information. This is an age of information, am I right? So either you surf on Google and then you see whether there is what's that all about. But you can't ask Google what is God. You can ask, but Google will not tell you. There will be so many options. God is this, God is that. Best way to know about God is how? If you want to get information of God, how do you get it? Best. No? What's that? Before that? The answer is perfect. Perfect answer. If you want to know about God, what is the best way? Ask God. Who are you? If you want to know about me, whom will you ask? Him? You will ask him? Who am I? He can give you some partial information. If you want to know everything about me, you will ask me. So if you want to know about God, you ask God, but you can't ask God. Where is He? So you ask people who know Him. Best, just like Kishan introduced me to you. He knows me. Similarly, you ask people who know Him. Who knows Him? Who knows Him? Brahma. He is the Son of God. And He gave these scriptures. He knows God and He gave Vedas and scriptures. And then that passed down in generations. And the essence of all scriptures is, so by scriptures we can know who is God, isn't it? But the problem is, scriptures got corrupted. Actually not got corrupted, but lost. Many parts of Vedas are lost. Rig Ved had around thousands of portions of Rig Veda lost now. We just have 1,100 shakhas of Rig Veda now with us. All other are lost. Many scriptures are lost. So then you can't get full information from scriptures. That is why God decided to come Himself and speak about Himself. And that's why Krishna came. Krishna is God. He came and He spoke Bhagavad Gita. And what He spoke in Bhagavad Gita? In Bhagavad Gita said, who am I? He told Arjuna, listen, who am I? So that's why Gita is the best book to know about God, because it is directly coming from God. Veda scriptures, since long time it is being handed over. Some are lost, some are getting corrupted. You can't, know what's right, what's wrong. There's so much confusions. But Krishna came 5,000 years back. He spoke Bhagavad Gita and He said, okay, this is Bhagavad Gita. This is me. So third thing about Gita is a book by which you can know God as He is. If you read Vedas, you will get confused. You will think God is formless. Some people will say God is light. Some people will say God is energy. Some people will say God is sound, great sound. Some people will say, you are God, I am God. You heard this philosophy? You heard this? You are God, I am God, He is God. Everyone is God. Some people say there is no God. There is just consciousness. So many ideas. Krishna came, Krishna saw it, everybody's messed up. So He came and spoke Bhagavad Gita. And in Bhagavad Gita, He spoke this knowledge. So another thing about Bhagavad Gita is, what is Bhagavad Gita? Somebody asked you. It is a book which will give you knowledge of, now what I'm saying. Knowledge of God, third point, not first point. Eternal principles of life. That is life manual. Science. And third is knowledge of God as He is. That's why if you don't read Bhagavad Gita and if you have read all other scriptures, it is useless. Simply confusion. Anybody who has read Bhagavad Gita, if he has not read anything, he is clear. No problems. Absolutely no problems. This is Bhagavad Gita as it is. This third thing. Another, what is Bhagavad Gita? If somebody asks, fourth point is Bhagavad Gita is a law book. If you break the principles of Bhagavad Gita, you will get sufferings in life. It's a law book. It gives you laws which you can't break. If you break, you will simply suffer. That's Bhagavad Gita. So we like to call Bhagavad Gita as a law book. And law decides, am I right? Law decides what is right, what is wrong. So Bhagavad Gita, if you have confusion by reading Vedas and Purana scriptures, and if we want, and some scriptures say this, some scripture says this. If we want to decide what is right, what is wrong, decision is given by Bhagavad Gita. That's why Bhagavad Gita is a law book. It gives decisions when there are contradictions in scriptures. Got my point? So if there are so many scriptures, you might read somewhere something, somewhere something, somewhere something. If you're confused, read Bhagavad Gita, you'll get a decision in life. Anytime you are confused in life, open Bhagavad Gita, you'll get a solution. You will see that. You will yourself experience. So that's Bhagavad Gita. So this is Bhagavad Gita. So it's a beautiful book. You should all read it. You should all follow in life. You don't have to do anything. It's a small book, 700 verses. Not a big book. If you want to read Mahabharata has 1 lakh verses. If you want to read Padma Puran, 28,000 verses. If you want to read Rig Ved, Rig Ved, how many it has? 1 crore mantras. You can't finish. So this is the smallest book we have. If you want more small than this, then if you want more small than this, then there is no option. There is no book more small than this. The smallest comprehensive book about God. If you want more small than this, you say, Prabhuji, I don't have time, this. Okay, read 15 chapter and 12 chapter. 2 chapters. All knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in just 2 chapters. 12th and 15th. Very 20 verses, that's all. So you can read that. And you will understand everything about God. And then you practice and connect yourself with God. Once you get connected with God, you're happy. You're secure. He's with you. If He's with you, nobody can harm you. Am I right? No, if you think nobody can harm you, you become fearless. You become happy. That's all. This is all Bhagavad Gita is about. So, my request is, read Bhagavad Gita once, please. Before you pass from this college, read Bhagavad Gita at least 2 times, 10 times. In college only I got Bhagavad Gita. And I took it and then I read 100 times. I was just reading Bhagavad Gita always, in library, everywhere. I was reading it. And because of Bhagavad Gita, I passed in. Actually, I actually topped in final exam, KMC. So, why I topped? Because my colleagues were reading 12 hours, 10 hours, and memory 0. But because we were reading Bhagavad Gita, just 2 hours and memory was. He got a good memory. So, Bhagavad Gita not only help you to connect with God, it will help you in studies also. It will give you mind control. So you will not end up wasting time here and there. It might seem that, okay, we don't have time to read Bhagavad Gita. But if you invest time in Bhagavad Gita, it will save time. You will see that. Unnecessary friends, unnecessary activities, you will be out of it. And you will save a lot of time. I used to, when I was in my college, I used to daily go to Udupi temple. Daily. After my class, 5 o'clock, to catch a bus, daily go to Udupi temple. And take darshan and come back. I never missed. All 6.5 years, I never missed a single day. Rain, heat, cold. I used to daily go have darshan, take the darshan Udupi, eat laddu. You get laddu now? Yeah. Have darshan, eat laddu, drink 1 cane juice, and then go to Chandramouleshwar temple, Anantvananab. And then while coming back in the bus, we used to do kirtans. My friend was there, 2 friends. Come back by 9 o'clock, read for 1 hour, sleep. That's all. No reading. In class I used to hear nicely. And that's all. So by God's grace, nothing. My mind was controlled, so I talked. Simple formula. Otherwise, you have to sit in library whole day, you have to read, and you don't remember anything. You get messed up, clogged up brain, forget everything, and then solve nonsense. So if you allow God to come in your life, you will benefit from all angles. You will never lose anything. That's what I'm telling. Don't think investing time in Bhagavad Gita is a waste of time or you're losing time. You can spend time. Even in my final exams, I was doing the same thing. Going to Udupi, coming back. You see, MBBS final exams, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. You might have seen MBBS students, no? 24 hours reading. It's like mess. So that not a problem for us. Even in final exams, I was going. My friends were like psyched out, what's happening? You're not reading. So I told, well, I'm not reading because my memory and my mind is controlled. You have to read because your memory and mind is not controlled. You have to read 10 times. I have to read 1 time. No problem. It's practical. I'm telling from my example. So you can follow this. You follow this. You will never lose in life. If you connect with God, never ever you will lose. You will never be a loser. Never. People used to say, I will fail. For daily temple, kirtan, and people used to call me Panditji. I'm doing this, Panditji. So, but in the end, I told them, we'll see, Panditji will pass or you will, we'll see what will happen. My friends were there in MIT also. Many friends. The people who are connected with us, they pass nicely. Good. They used to come to this, like this base, have prasadam. Prasadam makes your mind pure. And they were like, good character. So they were happy. Even, yeah, that's all. Okay. Any questions? Anything you want to ask? Anything? I just give a simple thing.
You said at your time, there was no such a kind of information era or no such a distraction. So
now there are distractions. Yeah. That's a problem. But at our time also distractions. There were girls. Girls are always there. Now also. Topmost distraction is girls. And for girls, boys. Yeah. Additional is there, but main thing was that time, main thing is this time. Yes. We had drugs. We had dollops and TC. So it's there. We didn't have this thing in your hand. That thing we didn't have. That's okay. That's a big thing, addition. Am I right? This in hand. But see, you see this. People see this. In our time, daily we used to go to dollops or वो नीचे कौन downtown नीचे था ना Big Boss the down you know Big Boss no still it's there अच्छा हो गया उस टाइम में मूवीज हम रोज मूवीज देखने जाते थे Bioscope is there.
No, it's not. They don't know. They have no idea about
it's finished and mall is there. So that time movies we used to go, we used to hang around with now you're hanging around with this. Manipal is always distracted. You can't stop distraction. It's always distracted. Always. You can't stop it. Maybe that time 19, now 20. Less little difference. But ultimately, at this place, we have to be spiritual. Otherwise, it's difficult. It's impossible to get out of it. We have all these devices. At our time, they were like having this. What do we say? Walkmans were there, and magazines were there. If you know what I'm talking about. A freely accessible magazine, see magazine, and do whatever you want easily. It was the same thing. Now you have electronic bad things, they were on paper, everything was bad. We had very open culture at our time. I don't know now what's happening. Now it's pretty open. But at our time, Manipal started almost, 94 started. Very open culture, no restrictions. Absolute zero restrictions. Even now in hostels, it might be very strict, no? Very strict, no? At our time, very loose. Even boys hostel girls can come, girls hostel boys can go. It was complete mess. Complete mess. So, doesn't matter. Bhagavad Gita will teach you mind control. Even if you are in Manipal, if you are in America, if you are in heaven, with beautiful damsels and so much distractions, nothing is going to happen to you. Ultimately, it's from within. But if you're not controlled from within, even in temple, you will be messed up. Am I right? Even if you're in the best place, the mind will be out. So try, that's all. Anything else you want to ask? Anybody wants to ask? Just a minute. Yeah. Parents and relations. What?
Are your parents or relatives
Acha.
supporting you for this?
Yeah. My parents are chanting. My mother is chanting. My brother is supporting, and they're very happy I'm in this way. Actually, very happy. No, I changed. Which addiction?
In general.
More general.
Sometimes, even when we try to cut it out, we get fearless.
What I used to do is I used to daily go to temple. No friends. I have 2-3 friends who were like me, messed up according to them. We used to go to temple, have darshan, have laddu. So no time for nonsense. If you are staying here, then it's problem. But Venugopal temple. Daily go to Venugopal temple, sit there, have darshan. Change your friend circle. Now you might say, how should I change? Because students, friends will say you're nonsense, this and that. See, sometimes they will say, but after some time they'll say you're nonsense. After some time they will say you're crazy. And after some time they will say this trash, leave me. So you're alone. Bas. That's all. When I joined my college, my senior, ragging. Seniors do ragging. They didn't rag me. You know why? Because when I joined the Nehru hostel, then once 4 seniors, they took me in the room and they were trying to rag me. So I was not getting irritated. You see, they were telling, okay, smoke, okay, smoke. Sit, whatever they were doing. They were telling, maza hi nahi aa raha yaar. No fun. Ragging him, what's happening? You get out, get lost. So that's the whole idea. Don't interact with them. And don't react. Even if you react, they will have fun. So don't act, don't react. Do the needful, padho, padhao, apna friendship, change your friendship circle. Sat sangat from nahi sangat. That's why we opened this program. You get good friends here, no? Like-minded. So then you can be, otherwise it's difficult to get rid of addictions. It's not easy. Change your circle. It might hurt your friends initially, bad friends, but you have to change. It's difficult. Aisa sang, vaisa rang. Suna hai? North Korea. What do you want to ask? Anybody else? Yeah. Anybody else want to ask? Yeah, please ask. What she's saying? How to connect with Lord? Elaboration is simple. Bhagavad Gita says if you want to connect with God, chant His holy names. But when you chant His holy names, you have to know who is He. Otherwise, your mind will go here and there. For whom you are chanting? Whose name is this? How is Krishna? Who is Krishna? If you know Him with knowledge, if you chant, then you can get connected. Why? Because if you chant with knowledge, then your mind and heart will be involved in chanting. Otherwise, mind will go here and there. No? When your mind and heart is involved in chanting the holy names, your chanting will reach to the ears of God. He will listen. Who is chanting my name with full heart and full mind? In this age where everybody has forgotten, It's a rare phenomenon, isn't it? Even if people who are chanting, they're chanting ritualistically. So immediately Krishna's attention will come on you. And when God, Krishna thinks about you, that is connection. You're thinking about him, he is thinking about you, that is connection. You've developed a connection. That's all. This is a simple thing. So if we chant and take knowledge of God from Gita, that is why we have two things, Shravanam Kirtanam. Hear either from devotees or read Bhagavad Gita and chant his names, and then you get that slowly you will get connected. That's all. That's simple. We need support of devotees also.
I had a question, like, we all want to be happy and we try to search for happiness at different places. Like you said, some of us go into drugs and opposite gender, mobile phones, gaming. But at the end, we all want to fill the vacuum of the heart. And how can we do that?
You want to fill the vacuum of the heart. Yeah. In that vacuum, put Krishna. God can satisfy your heart. There is no other thing which can satisfy it. Just like a fish is satisfied when it is in water. Similarly, heart is satisfied when God is there. Otherwise, you can't satisfy it. It's impossible. And it's not a new thing. You see many pop singers, they commit suicide. You have seen? Recently. Who is that?
The Parasite.
Acha, the least. He commits suicide. He became Parasite. Huh? Parasite actor, Parasite. A Parasite movie, no? Suicide. So big rich people do. I have never seen a poor man doing suicide. Have you seen? Never. You will never hear. Have you heard any news? Rickshaw wala doing suicide? Huh?
Poverty is letting the society poverty.
Yeah, maybe that. Otherwise, they don't do suicide. Mostly, very few news of any poor man doing suicide. Either they don't get food, they will die because of heart attack, in cold or something. They get big losses. But mostly, a poor man cannot incur losses. He's poor already. So some losses, some farm is there, it is gone. So that what poor man will do? He will just go to his village, sit with his wife, do something. They don't get thoughts. Suicide thoughts rich people get. You know why? I'll tell you. If you climb a tower and if you go to 40th story, then you get a thought, I'll jump. But if you're standing on the ground, you will never get the thought, I'll jump. Am I right? I'll jump. Why? What jump? You will never even get a thought, I'll jump. There is no concept of jumping. So the more higher you go, the more harder you fall. So all rich people, they do suicides. Because why? They have everything. They have money, they have friends, they have everything. But after achieving everything, what they thought will give satisfaction, they don't get satisfaction. And that brings them depression. We worked so hard for this and they're told, I'll give you satisfaction. Now we are here, no satisfaction. Okay, fine. Let's jump. They do suicides. So, this proves that nothing can satisfy us. Only God can satisfy us. And you see most of the saints are poor. You have seen that? Most of the saints are poor. And if the saints are not poor, they will like to live a life of poverty. You see all big saints? They live life. Why? Because they know this is why we have got God. We don't need anything. We are okay. No problem. That is what is satisfaction. God.